Well, welcome everybody. Today's presentation is called "The Mainstream Media as a Military Weapon for Social Engineering and War." We advise our audience here to please look for yourself. In Washington, D.C. is counting on you not verifying this information. Please fact check the materials here. There is a lot of factual information, and we always ask people to look for themselves. It's the only way that you can verify such a big puzzle. Today's presentation on how the media has been lying to us, sometimes with actors and whole setups to trick all of us into war. We want to warn the viewers that there is some graphic language. Is not too bad, but just be aware of that. And I always guide myself with this thought from Bill Cooper, an ex-Navy intelligence officer. Listen to everybody, read everything, and believe nothing until you can prove it with your own research. In other words, don't trust anybody. So look for yourself and see. Sometimes the truth lies somewhere in between the extremes. A little bit of who I am. I'm a mechanical engineer by training. Worked for the Department of Defense for about 4 years and a defense contractor. My political orientation is currently I don't vote. I'm very disappointed with the current political system. I'm an ex-Democrat. I've never voted for a Republican. And I'm registered as an independent, but still I refuse to vote until money is removed from politics. That's what my political background is. A brief outline of this presentation. We're going to be talking why is the mainstream media such a powerful force used to engineer consent, and what tools do they use, including their connections to military psyops. We will look at how the Nazis effectively use racism to manipulate the public to go after certain segments of their population, including political enemies and the Jews, and the parallels to today's right and left media. We will catch Fox, CNN, BBC, and MSNBC using actors and editing videos to change the story in favor of war and to demonize third parties and the role of Hollywood leaked sex videos in war propaganda. We will examine the origins of the term conspiracy theories as a pejorative, and we're going to take a look at CIA memo 1035-960. It was an interagency memo during the Warren Commission on the assassination of John F. Kennedy. That's where they started using this term of conspiracy theories to ridicule people who ask questions about the official stories. I provide links so that you can go quickly and read all these original documents, and links to all the videos that we're going to be presenting here that have been put together by various activists out there. We're going to be also talking about the NDAA 2013 that Obama signed into law, which legalizes propaganda and lies against the American people, overturning a previously existing law that prohibited. We're going to be talking about the role of the media in shaping current geopolitics, and we will provide evidence that Obama's wars were planned 10 years ago. Here at our PCC Studies Club, we look at factual and historical non-contested information to create public awareness. Our members come from very diverse backgrounds, from current military personnel to law enforcement to academics. We are also joined by progressive libertarians, independents like Marvin Sains, who ran for U.S. Senate, and of course those Democrats and Republicans that are starting to realize that something smells funny. This presentation is particularly important because the mainstream media create trends and they influence opinions. They shape social attitudes. They create awareness and also distractions when needed. And it has been a very powerful political tool for centuries. What I'm about to show you is not only will challenge your belief system, it is also far more entertaining than any show you could be watching right now, like House of Cards or Scandal. You'll be hooked on it if you do your own research. It's very, very interesting to research. This is not the story, but the reality of how the real power brokers behind the scenes manipulate your emotions and exploit your beliefs by feeding you fabricated news and blatant lies, literally. Please, I invite you to stay with us for at least the next 35 minutes. The presentation is a little longer, but the first 35 minutes, you will see it for yourself. To see for yourself the overwhelming amount of evidence that shows that we are all tricked into war and hate. And with this, we're going to proceed with the first video. We're going to spend the first 35 minutes in this slide going through some of these videos, and if you feel that you had enough, you can stop at that point. But the presentation, I think, is very, very interesting. We're going to look at the first video here, the top 10 staged media events.
Now we're some health news. You know the old expression, don't worry, be happy?
Don't worry, be happy.
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 Don't worry,
Don't worry, be happy.
don't worry, be happy.
Ashley Banfield from a parking lot in Phoenix reporting via satellite with Nancy Grace, who seemed to be in the same parking lot in Phoenix. I'm basing that, of course, on the fact that the cars that are passing by Ashley Banfield's location box also appear to be passing directly into Nancy Grace's box.
In consumer news, economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny's step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
After faking a news conference, instead of facing the usual grilling from journalists, the Emergency Management Agency had its own employees, you see them sitting down right there, pretend to be reporters and ask the questions. Well, now the White House is responding.
It is not a practice that we would employ here at the White House, or that we certainly don't condone it. We didn't know about it beforehand. FEMA has issued an apology saying that they had an error in judgment when they were attempting to try to get out a lot of information to reporters who were asking for answers to a variety of questions in regards to the wildfires in California. It's not something I would have condoned, and they, I'm sure, will not do it again.
Could this be the end of email overload?
Could this be the end of email overload?
Could this be the end of email overload?
Could this be the end of
We're going now to Saudi Arabia and Charles Jaco. Charles, are you still hearing me? Charles
Yes,
Jaco is just
the air raid sirens are just now going off here near these U.S. bases in Saudi Arabia. We've sent the entire camera crews inside right now. We're all preparing to put on our gas masks, as we've been told. There are sounds of planes overhead. We don't know whose planes there are, but air raid sirens are going off insistently. There are military convoys on both sides of me. We're being told to get off this platform and get inside into the air raid shelter immediately. But right now, everyone's been training for this, and it looks like we may have to.
All right, Charles Jaco, that doesn't mean that he is in any imminent danger. Of course, we can't know that.
CD, if you need to take cover, I notice that you've got your gas mask in your hands. If you need to put it on, please do so. If you need to take cover.
People are looking up in the skies, scanning the skies to see what they can see. Hi, Atlanta. We're about to have a short course in missile identification. This is a Scud. You can tell it by its distinctive label. Now, when the missile is launched, the first thing you look for is the plume sticking out behind it. Now, when you detect this, you can tell it's been launched. Thank you.
Graffiti on it? Yeah, show me graffiti.
Larry King, show or bust. Je suis un journaliste américain. Wolf. Woof. Oh, I love this country so much.
You guys just don't have a clue.
Well, Cheryl, it was almost exactly 2 hours ago when the sirens went off here in Saudi Arabia. Where we are in eastern Saudi Arabia, there was no problem. Now, let me just size my mask and fit it for a second, just like I always do. Stand by, please. All clear. They're... Shh. What are they saying? Are they saying all clear?
Yes, ma'am. I can't hear.
Were they saying all clear down there just now?
Okay. Okay.
All clear. All clear. Está bien was a false alarm. Got that, Atlanta? Standing down now. I'm gonna go get my hamburger and my coffee.
Good. We just got the all clear.
All clear. Every time I order something, this happens. All clear. Thank you.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
U.S. President George Herbert Walker Bush pushes for a land war against Iraq. But polls show the U.S. public is split 50-50 on that idea. Then comes this eyewitness testimony before a congressional committee from a 15-year-old Kuwaiti girl. The claim is she cannot be identified for fear of reprisals.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, took the incubators, and left the children to die on the cold floor.
The U.S. public is outraged. The result? Support for land war zooms. It's a turning point. Desert Storm is launched. 135,000 Iraqis are killed. An estimated 1 million Iraqis, many of them children and old people, then die as a result of 10 years of sanctions. One small problem. There never were any incubator baby deaths, not one. The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's investigative flagship program, The Fifth Estate, reveals the girl to be the Kuwaiti ambassador's daughter, given her lines and coached in acting by the giant American PR firm Hill & Knowlton. It's one phase in a $10 million joint U.S.-Kuwaiti campaign of deception. This man is lying.
I myself buried 14 newborn babies that had been taken from their incubators.
This man is lying.
And they had kids in incubators, and they were thrown out of the incubators so that Kuwait could be systematically dismantled.
There were a lot of people who participated in a conspiracy. Yes, an out-and-out conspiracy of fake organizations, false documents, fraud, and disinformation.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
I'm Ray McGovern, a 27-year veteran of the Central Intelligence Agency. Why did you lie to get us into a war that was not necessary and that has caused these kinds of casualties?
Ruh-roh.
First of all, I haven't lied.
Oh, he didn't lie. All right, well, that settles it, everybody. There's pound cake in the back. We can all have a nice time, and,
It appears that there were not weapons of mass destruction there.
You said you knew where they were.
I did not.
See? He never said he knew where they were.
We know where they are. They're in the area around Tikrit and Baghdad and east, west, south, and north somewhat.
So the Secretary of Defense caught in a contradiction about weapons of mass destruction. Surely that will be a big story.
How much of an axe do you have to grind with Secretary Rumsfeld?
But he wasn't just any heckler.
Were you nervous? Tucker, I resent the word heckler. I'd like you to take that back.
Okay, I'm not taking it back.
Donald Rumsfeld encouraged whoever, I think, had their hands on you at the time to let you stay there. Does he get any credit for that today?
Isn't it enough that he was wrong and had bad judgment? Why does he have to be a liar, too?
Well, you know, that's the question you'd have to direct to him.
But won't.
Right after 9/11, people were asked about Iraq, and only about 16% felt Saddam Hussein had anything to do with it. But with all of this propaganda coming out, Cheney and all those folks, about 28% believed that Iraq had something to do with it. 2 years after we invaded Iraq, close to 60%, 56% of Americans believed a delusion.
What did Iraq have to do with what?
The attack on the World Trade Center.
Nothing.
There are 5 giant multinational corporations who control all 14,000, virtually all 14,000 radio stations in America, all 5,000 television stations, 80% of our newspapers, all of our billboards, and most of the large internet content providers. So there are 5 guys who are deciding what we hear as news and information.
Iraq's continued defiance of the community of nations presents a challenge which must be addressed.
Presents a challenge which must
The member
be
for Grindler.
It is inherently
dangerous to allow a country such as Iraq
to retain weapons of mass destruction, particularly in the light of its past aggressive behaviour.
If the world community fails to disarm Iraq, we fear that other rogue states will be encouraged to believe that they too can have these weapons.
Whitney Houston died in a swimming pool. She had more than twice as much coverage on primetime TV than 250,000 people who died in Haiti. Lance Armstrong was involved in a doping scandal. Oh, my God. Almost 3 times more attention than we gave to the death of 250,000 people in Haiti. So 3 years after the Haiti quake, there are 378,000 Haitians who are still